Can this light I ordered save my YouTube channel? I'm admittedly in a bit of a flop era, and I'm hoping that this new light can take my content to new heights, make my videos look so crisp and professional, make it really look like I have my ish together, and that this high quality production value will convince people that I really know what I'm talking about in my little talking head videos. That I'm super trustworthy, because that's how it works, right? By the way, hi, I'm Kea, and I am back with an unorthodox gear review paired with a slight existential crisis. Sorry in advance. So I recently moved overseas and had to leave my existing lighting setup behind for the sake of all my clothes and whatnot. And being without my lights was a lot more painful than I anticipated. They weren't even the fanciest lights, but they were super dependable. Some Amazon basics and an 18-inch newer ring light that I actually never used as a ring light. I digress. My lighting setup worked for what it was, and it saw me through the rise of this channel. And now, as I've begun settling into my new space and have been trying to get consistent again, my biggest barrier has been lighting and also getting in my own head. But that's something else I'll unpack another time. I just really don't like the way my last few videos have looked. And because they have lower views than usual and I'm only human, it's easier to blame my lighting setup for the lower views than it is the fact that I've been absent from YouTube for several months, or the fact that my recent videos are pretty niche and might not appeal to a wider audience, or maybe the fact that the videos themselves are just not up to par. Yeah, it couldn't be any of those things. It's my lighting, 100% my lighting. So after I recently tried to film a new video for this channel and I ended up absolutely hating the look of it, I sat down, hyperfixated on lights for a few days, ordered one, and halted all production until it arrived, which was late last night. You guys, I'm so excited. I'm hoping this solves all my problems. It says not to use an X-Acto knife on this, but what if we use a steak knife? Comparison is a funny thing. The majority of super successful creators I follow, or at least the ones within the creator education space or like the tech review space, all have to die for lighting. And I really want that for myself. Like, their videos just look so good. And it makes me go down this sort of mental spiral, wondering a lot about causation versus correlation. Like, how many of these creators are super successful because their lighting is so good and makes them look professional, so people take them seriously, and so they blow up, or at least, like, you know, grow steadily? Or do a lot of these YouTubers have content that looks really good because they are successful and now can afford good lighting to increase the quality of their videos and make them look more professional? Are you with me? You're with me, right? And I know it's actually really easy, sorry, to dismiss that conversation because, of course, there are tons of lo-fi creators that we can point to who are doing incredibly well. People with like grainy footage, shaky stuff, no lighting, and people are falling all over them in praise, saying that they're just so relatable and like accessible. It's just like me. And I mean, I get it. I see it with my own watching habits. Though I do tend to lean towards the more aesthetically pleasing content, I will find myself very often watching a video that's 720p with no depth to it, simply because the thumbnail and title were super catchy and the information being provided in the video was good and intriguing enough to get me to keep watching. In fact, I was just talking with a friend about this very subject, and he had said he sat through a recent Gary Vee video that had poor visuals and the audio was so bad that it kept like peaking and distorting all the way through. But he stuck with it because the information was so good. But I do think that Gary Vee's name carries a lot of weight there. I don't think we would have the same patience for a random dude holding his phone super shakily with poor audio, telling us stuff as though he's the expert on the creator economy. Like, I don't think we would believe him, given how poorly he's using technology. But I also think that high production value can do the same thing in reverse, where the production value is doing a lot of the heavy lifting to make a video seem valuable or of high caliber. Because I've clicked on a lot of videos where the storytelling is awful, they're not getting to the point, or the point is just something that's been regurgitated online a million different times, but the video looks so good and convincing that the audience grants this person like an extra level of trust or authority. And so they keep getting views and rising to success on that. Now, I'm not saying that I want to use good lighting to trick people into thinking that my information is good, but as a relatively small creator, I don't have a face or name that is super recognizable that people will click on and listen just because I'm me. And so I need to stack the cards as much as possible in my favor. When I talk about how I'm a full-time creator and how I've managed to become one without millions of followers, I need my setup to sort of add to my authority a bit. It's another way of building trust that just feels a little less icky than flashing how much you've made 24/7. And don't get me wrong, I do talk about how much I make as a content creator. A lot of the early comments I got on this channel when I was just starting were that people really were surprised at how few subscribers I had based on the level of production value I had. Even though my videos didn't have thousands of views or subscribers, my content didn't come across as though I was a new YouTuber. And maybe I'm too in my head, but I just don't think my recent videos have been giving me that same leg up. I do actually have a couple lights around. I did bring this little one from home, as well as my two little RGB lights. And I did also grab this light here in Hong Kong, but none of them are strong enough to act as a proper fill light. That's where this guy comes in. Also really ironic that as I'm here talking about lighting, I'm sure the lighting is shifting like crazy in the background, which is actually part of my problem. I do have this beautiful big windows out here that is providing daylight. There's no extra lighting going on right now, and it looks good, but it fluctuates. A cloud moves in, we gotta adjust the ISO. Or if we have the auto ISO on, it's still not really capturing things properly. And so it's almost easier to block out the daylight and make my own light so that it's all nice and consistent. So here we are. Hey, this is the Softbox, I believe. Whoa, okay. Beautiful reflector. Light itself, it's quite heavy. Wow, my first cob light, wow. Instructions and a really sturdy case. I actually don't know what this is. Is this a Bowen's mount thing? We'll find out. Okay, so when I was looking for a light, I was really keen on the Godox MLB2, I think it was called. I'll put it up here. I think I'm butchering it. But I'm on a budget and there was an Amazon Black Friday sale, so I got the GVM 80-watt light, SD80D, and it's supposed to be a bicolor light. I have actually never used a light like this before. My Amazon ones I had before were super old school. You get the big bulb, you screw it in, gets really hot. You try not to drop it because it can smash, which has actually happened before. Obviously, I'm not gonna try to drop this, but it's different. I also very specifically got the bicolor light because the lighting in my apartment is so wonky that I wanna be able to white balance and like match to whatever I'm shooting in. Literally, like every room has a completely different color temperature. I could also fix that by going and buying different bulbs, but this also has the ability for me to plug it straight into the wall or power it by batteries if I were to want to take it outside or just have more flexibility shooting around my apartment. I do think batteries will be my next purchase because, I don't know, cords are iffy. And yeah, let's see if I can manage to set this thing up. I did order a kit that came with a softbox, an octagonal softbox that comes with the diffuser and the grid. And it also came with a tripod because I didn't bring any proper tripods here. Let's see. It's a beast. Cat is just sleeping in the corner here, completely unfazed by this chaos. What is happening? Now she's phased. I see you. This extends quite high. Okay, we had to close the blinds. Probably didn't have to close the blinds yet. I don't know how this works. Okay, does that just go on that? Guess I could read the instructions. Not really instruction people. Ding. Let's lower that. Ding. There needs to go up for this. Next, insert the Bowen's mount bonding. I don't know what that means. This thing? Wow, that was easy. I think that's all it wanted from me. Is that? I feel like I forgot what a Canadian plug looks like. It looks tiny. Right. Does it work? Yo! Success! I don't know how any of these buttons work. Let's flip this around. That was only 10%. 100% just blinded the socks off everything. Hello. I can have the most dramatic lighting ever. So, you've come to my lair. Okay, that was lame. Guys, this is 1%, and I have to be careful not to even look into it because I'll blind myself. So this is basically like pure spotlight. We're not gonna stay this dramatic for long, but speaking of dramatics, I think it's so funny that I overthought my light purchase, and that's not that surprising because I overthink everything, but I was really worried about the 80 watt, thinking that it wouldn't be bright enough, so I was like, I need the 100 for like most use case, da 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 da. This is this light at 1%. Of course, as we are about to find out, when you use the Softbox, it will diffuse this light, make the light source bigger, so it will be softer, less intense, it'll light up more of the room, it will be more what I'm going for. And when you use a softbox and diffuse the light, you also end up like dimming the light, so you do need to crank it up more. But the fact that this is 1%, I feel like we're not gonna be cranking it this high, and that like the 80 watt is probably still going to be overkill for me. Let's try the softbox. I think that's what this is for. I don't know how this works. Hey, it's working. Ooh, don't knock over the light. Is there an easier way to do this? Okay, we did it. The amount of physical exertion that took, I don't think I ever want to do that again. So I think I'm gonna just keep this built 24/7. This is, there we go. There we go, it's in. Around, around. We also have this one. So what I think we'll do is we'll test this one. Then we will put the grid over top. Then we will test with this little guy. Let's see. Wowzers. Okay, this is 1%. The ISO right now is 1000, which is crazy. So let's adjust that right back. Let's go ISO 100. Then I fix it from there. 1%. You can see it's not like crazy spotlight anymore. Let me get the app. 5, 14, 22. Ooh, 100. Insane, don't need that at all. From here I can start to practice with different effects. So this light is only 2.6, but I've raised the ISO to 800 and it sort of lightens the entire room. You know, it makes like the background not look so gray. But if I want more of me and I want to light my background separately, I could raise the intensity of this and then drop the ISO down to, let's see, this is 125. Raise this a little bit more and here we are. So sweaty. Let me go dab my face. So I'm definitely feeling like I'm going to have to learn a lot about lighting. I've been on YouTube like all day trying to understand like how to create the effect that I want. And I think we're gonna have a long ways to go. Okay, now let's see what it looks like with the grid on it. ISO on the camera is 125, 32% light intensity. The grid is supposed to make the light more directional. So I think we'll see maybe the background getting darker as I do this. I'll see, very cool. I also anticipate we will get darker. Ooh, yeah, much darker. So this is the exact same setup. Like I said, less spill into the background, 2%. Let's see what it looks like a little bit brighter. Even as we continue to brighten and darken, it still seems quite focused and directional on me. Put it back to 32. Now I wanna try this guy. I'm predicting a lot more spillover into the room. So almost the opposite of how it looks with the grid. This is, ooh, just the, like, without the diffuser. So bright. This is with the little guy on. I think I like that. I like how everything looks more evenly lit. So obviously a new light does not a professional setup make, but I do just find this provides so much more dimension and so much more flexibility. I can film at like whatever time of day, not a victim of the shifting daylight. I'm so excited. Let's like test run a couple different looks. So we've got this light here. This is where these additional lights can come in handy because I could actually use it as a fill light now to balance my face out a little bit, I think. Let's plug this in. Let's see, so I could put that right there. That actually balances things out really nicely. Off, on, cool, balanced out. Next, I got this fun little guy, and I think it could be really cool for background. Turn it on. That's adding to it, some more character. You can change the colors of a bunch of those with these little gels, but we're not gonna do that. And now, if I use this guy, I make the light really warm, and I have it like shining. That's really bright. Dim it behind me for a little bit of a backlight. Maybe I have it shining on my camera gear. There's lots we can do. So it's definitely not perfect, but I feel like this looks better than what I had before. Let's try another one. Okay, this also is quite nice. Maybe I raise that one now, put that there, or maybe it was better down there, I don't know. We just have that as like a little ball. Not bad, not perfect, but I feel like I look more professional. We've raised the high qualityness of it all. And now finally, let me try my setup that has kind of been my go-to since moving in here, but my face has just looked so flat, like no dimension at all. Let's see. The dimension. What if we use this light to warm up? It's so minor, but just having this in my lap like this adds a little bit more oomph to the scene. And this is in comparison to what I had before. Y'all, so happy. One final setup I was thinking. Okay, this might be a favorite because I have just more going on visually in the background. This is so cool. I think this actually is going to be my lighting setup. And like this light does not have to work hard to compete with the natural light behind me. Like, this is cool. This light is only set right now to 24%. If I wanted it brighter and for it to maybe drown out like this practical a little bit, this is now 31%. I think it's gonna take me a lot of time to figure out what lighting setup I like and what is like my brand. Let me know which potential lighting setup is your favorite, if I should like mix them up a bit. I do really like the couch in the corner one, but I do think I need to make it a little bit more visually interesting, add some depth, some stuff in the background. But I think this right now is a current favorite. Obviously there's just so much stuff on my desk. Like I have the reflector, that would go away. There we go, it's a little less cluttered. These are all my memory cards. I'm really happy this purchase was such a good one. And yeah, we're just gonna have to see if it saves this YouTube channel or not. Thanks for watching, and until next time. Bye-bye.